Hello everyone, and welcome back to Christ Alone. Today we're going to continue with the Easter theme. Last week we had a look at what happened on Good Friday, and today we're focusing on the events of Easter Sunday. The passage we will be studying is Mark chapter 16 verses 1 to 20. After Jesus had taken his final breath, he was taken from the cross and placed in the tomb, which was owned by Joseph of Arimathea. The Sabbath, which was on the Saturday at the time, had passed, and it's the morning of Easter Sunday. This is where the passage starts. Mark chapter 16 verses 1 to 20. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go to anoint Jesus' body. Very early on the first day of the week, just after sunrise, they were on their way to the tomb, and they asked each other, "Who will roll the stone away from the entrance of the tomb?" But when they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had been rolled away. As they entered the tomb, they saw a man dressed in a white robe, sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. "Don't be alarmed," he said. "You're looking for Jesus the Nazarene who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter, he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." Trembling and bewildered, the women went out and fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. When Jesus rose early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had driven 7 demons. She went and told those who had been with him, and who were mourning and weeping. When they heard that Jesus was alive, and that she had seen him, they did not believe it. Afterward, Jesus appeared in a different form to 2 of them, while they were walking in the country. These returned and reported it to the rest, but they did not believe them either. Later, Jesus appeared to the 11 as they were eating. He rebuked them for their lack of faith and their stubborn refusal to believe those who had seen him after he had risen. He said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned. And these signs will accompany those who believe. In my name they will drive out demons. They will speak in new tongues. They will pick up snakes with their hands. And when they drink deadly poison, it will not hurt them at all. They will place their hands on sick people, and they will get well." After the Lord Jesus had spoken to them, he was taken up into heaven, and he sat at the right hand of God. Then the disciples went out and preached everywhere, and the Lord worked with them and confirmed his word by the signs that accompanied it. That was the passage, and now here are some things we can take from it. Our main point from the passage is there was so much unbelief. There were 3 sets of people which heard directly that Jesus had been risen from the dead. First, there were the 3 women, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome, who visited the tomb. They were greeted by an angel who told them the good news. Next, there was Mary Magdalene again, but this time she was told the news by Jesus himself. Finally, there were 2 men who were walking on the road to Emmaus. They were discussing what happened that weekend when Jesus appeared to them. After a while, they realised who the man who joined them was, and they spread the news of his resurrection. The first set were trembling and bewildered from what they had seen and heard. In verse 8 it says, "They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid." This is understandable. Anyone would be shocked in the situation that they had just witnessed, and it would take them time to comprehend what was going on. Mary Magdalene, one of the women from the first set, got a second shock on that morning as she received a visit from Jesus himself. To see a friend who was dead just days before standing and talking with her would have been spooky enough, but her fear turned into joy. She went and told the ones who knew Jesus that he was alive, but sadly they didn't believe her. The final group done the exact same when they saw Jesus, but again the people they told didn't believe them either. 3rd time's the charm perhaps. It wasn't until Jesus himself came to the disciples and they finally believed Jesus had risen again. Jesus was annoyed and rebuked them because they didn't believe. He has said on numerous occasions that the events of the past days would occur, but sadly none of them seemed to take heed of it. Matthew chapter 20 verses 17 to 19 says, "Now Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, On the way, he took the 12 aside and said to them, "We are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and the teachers of the law. They will condemn him to death, and will hand him over to the Gentiles, to be mocked, and flogged, and crucified. On the third day he will be raised to life." If a friend of yours had told you something was going to happen, and had sufficient evidence to say it could happen, but you didn't believe them at all, they would be frustrated at your shocked state whenever it did happen. They had seen that Jesus had raised others from the dead, so why was it such a shock to see that he could do it to himself? Some people can be stuck in the same situation as the disciples. They hear of all the things Jesus has done for us, but don't fully believe that it all happened. The best thing to do in this situation is to pray to God that he will reveal himself to you, or another person who isn't a believer, through his word. This would help you solidify your faith in him. You can also watch other Christians as they live their own lives and see how God works through them. But bear in mind, no one is perfect. Remember that their mishap is covered by what Jesus had done on the Easter weekend. Jesus was tortured, beaten and disgraced, but he fought through it all and was raised to life again, so that we would get a chance to go to heaven. He did it all for us, including you, so please don't let it be all for nothing. Thanks very much for joining us for this Easter episode. We hope you have enjoyed, and we'll see you next time here at In Christ Alone.